Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with a story from Jamaica. Two members of the opposition People's National Party (PNP) have put forward recommendations to strengthen the educational system's response to COVID-19, with both commenting that the current school-at-home approach, which relies on the internet, is exacerbating the iniquities in the educational system. Opposition spokesman on education Peter Bunting is calling for a task force established under the National Education Council to design an infrastructure to proof the educational system against future pandemics and similar disruptions. He added that the design should include media literacy for students and a mechanism to accelerate the adoption of technology in schools and train teachers to effectively deliver instructions online. He pointed out that the current mode of delivery of education is being hampered by unequal access to reliable internet and internet devices, highlighting that only 55% of households in Jamaica have internet and the data packages were costly. In addition, he said devices such as tablets are currently unavailable to many schools, as several will not be delivered until June based on the government's contract with its supplier. His fellow PNP member Senator Damian Crawford similarly noted problems with internet provision and costs as blockades to many students' access. The opposition senator is recommending resuming schools in summer if the COVID-19 spread dissipates, and establishing a better collaboration with telecommunications companies to ensure that students can access learning platforms free of cost. He is also advocating for students who wish to delay sitting Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate (CSEC) examinations until January to do so without penalty. And now for news from Cuba. Cuba sent 216 healthcare workers to South Africa on Saturday, the latest of more than 20 medical brigades it has sent worldwide to combat the coronavirus pandemic in what some call socialist solidarity and others call medical diplomacy. The communist-run country has sent around 12,000 healthcare workers largely to vulnerable African and Caribbean nations, but also to rich European countries such as Italy that have been hit particularly hard by the novel coronavirus. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has urged nations not to accept Cuba's medical missions on charges it exploits its workers, which Havana denies. But the calls have gone largely unheeded as overwhelmed healthcare systems have welcomed the help. Cuba, which has confirmed 1,337 cases of the virus at home and 51 deaths, has one of the world's highest number of doctors per capita and is renowned for its focus on prevention, community-oriented primary healthcare, and preparedness to fight epidemics. South Africa has recorded 4,361 cases, including 86 deaths, with 161,004 people testing positive for the virus as of Saturday. The country has a special relationship with Cuba, which supported the fight against apartheid, a conflict that included Cuban troops who fought and died in southern Angola. After Nelson Mandela was freed from prison in 1990, he repeatedly thanked revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. And finally, for news from El Salvador. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele yesterday authorized the use of lethal force by police and military against gang members to crack down on heightened violence amid the coronavirus pandemic. The Central American country has reported 24 homicides on Friday, the worst one-day toll since Bukele took office in June, prompting him to order a 24-hour lockdown in prisons housing gang members. By late Sunday afternoon, police had registered another 29 murders, prompting Bukele to introduce tougher measures against gangs he said were taking advantage of the fact that security forces were busy helping to contain the virus outbreak. The government this weekend also ordered members of rival gangs into shared cells in a bid to break up lines of communication between members of the same group and carried out searches in at least 5 prisons. Some 12,862 gang members are incarcerated in El Salvador, prison authorities said. And that was all for tonight's regional news. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.